Okay, we were working with a vertical line and we already did steps 1, 2, and 3. Now we're gonna have to analyze this line to see which will be the domain, the range, which type of drawing is this one, and also to see if there are growth intervals in here or not. Okay, so the step 4, it will be to analyze the domain and range. So let's proceed with that. Okay, so let's put step 4, domain and range. Okay, and we're gonna have to find the domain and range for the steps. Okay, now what will be the domain in this case? Remember that the domain is, horizontally speaking, where do we have the drawing? Where's the drawing horizontally speaking? Like on the x-axis, where do you see that we have drawing? Do we have drawing on -2? No, right? Do we have drawing on -1? No. So where's the drawing? The drawing only exists on 4. It doesn't move outside of 4 there because it's a vertical line. So like if it moved to 3, then it wouldn't be a vertical line, right? Because it would change. That doesn't happen. The drawing is only on 4. So the domain in this case will be only number 4. The domain is going to be only number 4. Remember that we have to use curly brackets to put numbers. So the domain will be number 4. Okay. Now what about the range? The range is vertically speaking. So vertically speaking, where do we have drawing? Okay, like do we have drawing on 2? You might think, no, actually yes, we do have drawing. It's here. Okay, this point is part of the drawing. Remember that we're talking about vertically. Like vertically on 3, do we have drawing? Yes, there is a drawing here. Vertically speaking, if you check the drawing from the bottom to the top, where do we have drawing? We have drawing in all of the numbers. The drawing is everywhere. If we talk, like if we analyze it vertically, the drawing is everywhere vertically. Yes, I know it's not on this part, but this is horizontally speaking. Horizontally is only on 4, but vertically it's everywhere because in all of the heights we have drawing. Okay, like the drawing, if you will have to say from where to where do we have the drawing, will be from -infinity at the bottom to +infinity at the top, right? Like basically the drawing is everywhere. So that tells me that because the drawing is everywhere, that the range is going to have to be letter capital R, which means all of the numbers, all of the real numbers, the range will be R. Okay. Now what about the type? That will be step 5. Step 5 will be the type of drawing that we have here, either a relation or a function. Because it's a vertical line, this is not a function. Okay, so we need to clarify that on the type. It's not a function, it's a relation. We are just going to put it's not a function. So what is it? What is this thing then? Well, it's a vertical line. This is kind of like the explanation of why it's not a function. It's not a function because it's a vertical line, and vertical lines are not functions, they're just relations. Okay, that will be step number 5. Now step number 6 is to find the growth intervals. Okay, now there's a problem in here because you cannot check the growth intervals in something that is not a function. The growth intervals are a property of functions, so it is impossible to analyze growth intervals in here because this is not a function. Remember that to analyze the growth intervals you have to check 2 things. First, you have to analyze the drawing from left to right. But because the drawing only exists on 4, there is no left and there is no right on this drawing. There's only up and down. Because there's no left and right, you cannot analyze whether the drawing is going up or down, because there's no continuity here. There's just drawing on number 4. So it's impossible to tell whether it's going up or down, because there is no way we can relate it like from left to right in an analysis like that to see whether it's going up or down. Also, we cannot say it's constant, because obviously there are points everywhere, so there's no way to analyze this thing. So we cannot analyze the growth intervals. It's something that we cannot basically check. It's impossible to check it. So we put that this thing is not applicable. Remember, this thing is not applicable. It's something that you cannot check. Okay? Something that has nothing to do with the drawing, because this drawing is not a function, so we cannot analyze the growth interval. So you could put that like it's not applicable, but why? Why? Because it's not a function. Okay. If it's not a function, you cannot check growth intervals. It's impossible to check growth intervals on something that is not a function. So those will be all of the steps to basically plot and analyze a vertical line.